All right, we're recording. Go ahead whenever you want. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. That was better than expected. So, people out there, I got JB MOWS on the phone, and that was not a track. That was not a track that we dropped in here. Um, that was actually played. It was actually played by him. And yeah, so he plays the banjo, plays a lot of things. He's a really cool friend of mine. I've known him for several years through the community and stuff. But yeah, so he's going to tell us a little bit more about that. But he also plays the banjo. But I can see he kind of uses some of that similar styling. Even he was just playing the guitar just then, but he made it sound really cool. So how are you, bud? Thanks for coming on Thanksgiving and coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
So tell us a little bit about what if you want to, you can play a little something else later. But
Okay.
tell us a little bit about like how did you get into music? First before we go into the lawn stuff, how did you get into music? Why did you get into music? Is it something that your family does? Like because I kind of grew up in the drums and stuff, but like how did all that come together? Because that was something I just learned about you in the last few years, and that is really cool. That's a very awesome talent that 1% of 1% can even do that. So that's pretty cool. Talk a little bit about that because I like that.
Okay. Yeah, so my family has always uh sang like for many generations. But with my particular family, my oldest brother and sister started off with playing instruments. They took piano lessons when they were younger. And then I guess about 15 years ago, my brother got a guitar and he learned how to play it. And then just all the rest of us were like, we want, I don't know, we just started like picking up different instruments. I picked up trumpet first. We
Oh
all
wow.
kind of brass and wind instruments at first. And then, just watching my brother play guitar, picked up his guitar one afternoon and just started teaching myself chords. And from there, I learned the banjo. And yeah, I mean, and then we just started, just at home, we'd play together. And then um, I don't remember necessarily how I got started, but we just started we played at a church somewhere, and then from there we just played at a bunch of different other churches, and people started asking us to play, and we just been playing together ever since.
Wow. So are you still like playing at churches right now, like on a regular basis? Like do you?
Not, we play about, I don't know, 10 or less concerts a year, so it's not a lot. We do a lot around Christmas time. We'll do a live nativity and provide music along with it. Um,
I mean, 10 a year though. That's a pretty good amount still, though. I mean, that's
yeah,
like basically almost once a month, that kind of
yeah,
thing. Um,
yeah.
that's neat. That is so cool. And so, but you're saying it picks up even more around Christmas time.
Yeah, we have well, I guess technically like three concerts that we'll do in December
Oh wow. Oh wow. So you're picking up
this month.
a lot of them right now. And how far away, like from your state, do you go?
Well,
Or like even inside your state, do you go like 20 minutes away, or do you go like wherever? Or how does that work?
it's mainly like 20-30 minutes. We did go the farthest we've been so far. We went up to um, North Arkansas, Bella Vista, which is up at the very north part of the state, Missouri border. But we
Will,
just
get
got
those
at
headphones right there. Sorry, my daughter wants to listen in, so I'll tell her to get those
okay.
headphones so she can plug them in. Right there on the
Uh,
shelf. Anyway, so what state? I don't even know what state you live in, and so you're saying you go a little bit of
our,
ways away.
we live in Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Arkansas,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So this year we had somebody ask us to come sing up in Wisconsin, and so that's going to be our biggest trip so far. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to do that in June of next year.
Oh, wow. So Wisconsin, can you hear it in the headphones, Willow? Is it working? Okay. um, yeah, so you're going to Wisconsin. That's crazy. And so do you play Christmas music or what?
Yeah, yeah, we do. Christmas
Wow.
music isn't. I mean, I like Christmas music, but it's my least favorite to play. Mainly because it's got so many chords and it just makes it kind of difficult, especially do like a bluegrass style like we do sometimes. So
Yeah, yeah. And but so are you the first generation? Hang on, Willie, you want me to get you this chair right here? Are you the first generation to learn the banjo? Because, guitar is one thing and banjo is a whole another thing. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
if anybody knows anything, about instruments. Yeah, so
yeah,
there's a lot of
as
work with
far as-
your right hand, more instead of just strumming. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or even picking on a guitar.
I
I feel like it's not the same. Um,
yeah.
so it takes a whole another level of talent to be able to even play anything on the banjo. Um, so you're the first one that started playing banjo or what?
Yeah, as far as I know, we don't have any that I know of any banjo players in our family history.
So when you came along, you're like prized child, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And so what does your band consist of? Is it like other people in your family? Like, is it
Yeah,
just you and like one of your sisters? Like, how does it work? Because I don't
no,
know much about.
yeah, I mean, it was started out as our whole family. Now, my oldest brother is married. He moved off to Missouri. He's a firefighter up there in North Arkansas. Um, so right now, most of the concert is done by just all of our us siblings. My parents still they're singing on a couple songs, but pretty much it's just us siblings now that
Oh,
do
that
it.
is awesome. So what does that make up of though? So like
Oh, yeah.
instruments, like
So
tell the whole band.
I play the guitar and I really don't play the banjo that much anymore. I haven't played at one of our concerts in a while actually, but my younger brother has picked up the banjo, but he plays uh, claw hammer style, which is different than the three finger that I play, which is the traditional way. Claw hammer is like you're strumming the strings with your finger and then picking the notes with your thumb. It's just kind of got a different sound.
Oh, I
Um,
gotcha. I understand. Yeah.
yeah, so he'll play that, and then another older brother plays the bass guitar. Um, got a sister who plays the mandolin, and another sister who will play the bass sometimes when my brother doesn't. And
Gotcha.
then my youngest sister plays the piano, and she plays amazing Southern gospel piano. So we've started doing like a lot of quartet songs and just Southern gospel stuff. So that's been a lot of fun to incorporate that recently.
Oh, that's neat. And what do you primarily play? Is it if it's not Southern gospel like all the time, like what is it?
Well, it's pretty much Southern gospel because my younger sister, she pretty much kind of runs the song selection and
Oh, I
stuff, and
gotcha. Yep.
that's her. She actually doesn't care for bluegrass. I'm really the only one who cares for bluegrass, so they let me have a few bluegrass songs, but the rest is pretty much Southern gospel style.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, those lines kind of cross a little bit,
They do.
but
They yeah.
but man, bluegrass like it's so fast, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like man, like you have to work hard at that.
Oh yeah.
I need to get you bound sometime when your banjo's fixed. Well, actually guys,
Yeah.
he was gonna play it today, but he broke something off of it. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to get that fixed. You're gonna have to play it
Yeah.
sometime.
I tried to fix it last night. I got some friends who like play music and are smarter about it than I am. So I was messaging them like, "Hey, is there any way I can fix this?" And they had some ideas, and we were trying to rig up some things, but it just didn't work. So
Oh, I gotcha. Well, don't do that for me. I was just saying you need to fix it in general, right? Like because you're gonna
yeah,
play
yeah,
it some. But tell us a little bit about like how did you start in lawn care? Because that's how I know you. Like
yeah.
how did that come and what age did you start? How long have you do it? Like is that your full time income? These kind of things. Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I guess I started helping my dad when I was, I guess I'm gonna say 7. I think I was 7 or 8. Um, my older brother actually kind of started the business. We lived in the suburbs of St. Louis, and we lived in a cul-de-sac, and he just kind of did some yard work for people in the cul-de-sac. And we moved to Kansas. My dad's a pastor, and when we moved to Kansas, he took a church that was just part time, and so he needed some other work to do. So he came on with my brother, and they picked up more yards and started that way. And that's when I started helping. So just after school, whatever, in the afternoon. Um, and just I remember the first time I got to weed eat, it was with a Black and Decker corded electric weed eater, and had some uh, Bob the Builder play safety glasses to put on.
Oh
It
wow.
felt so important, weed eating just in our backyard. But that was like my first experience with any lawn equipment. So
So you've been
just
doing
from
it
there.
for a hot minute, then, is what you're saying?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
people say?
20 years.
Oh wow. And so,
So
but you don't live in Kansas anymore, right?
no, oh yeah, southwest Arkansas near Hope. Anybody knows where that is? Right on
How
the
far do you live from Cameron?
from where?
From Cameron, Cameron Duncan.
Oh, uh, probably about 5 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
nowhere. I know he's in Missouri somewhere, but I know
yeah.
that he's not.
I think he's southeast Missouri.
Oh, I gotcha. So he's not super close to where you are, because
No,
I know some parts of the state, could be reasonably close, but anyway,
yeah.
um, yeah. So you've been doing it for a long time. Is that like has that always been like your income, or have you had other jobs, or what about that?
So yeah, I I started doing it full time. I guess when I turned 18. Um, I kind of I'd always done it since when I was 7, just helping out, and just increasingly helped out more and more. And there never really was a time when I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do full time for the rest of my life, whatever. It's just kind of what I did. And I mean,
Right,
I
right.
did it, but so during the winter, here in Arkansas, we don't get snow. We don't got any work really in the winter. We can do some leaves and stuff, but so my dad has done like carpentry work during the winter
Yep,
and
yep.
handyman jobs. I do not care for that at all. So I helped him for a couple of years. And eventually, I was like, hey, I got to do something else. So he's like, okay, that's fine. So I found a job doing some bush hogging for a guy who he had a bunch of land with like timberland, and he wanted to keep it all bush hogged down. So I was like, that's mowing. So I got to
Yep,
mow
yep,
for
yep.
year round. So I did that for during the winter for uh, like 4 or 5 years. Um, so yeah, lawn care isn't my it's not my full time income. I've always had something supplemental in the winter.
I gotcha.
So I did that for 4 or 5 years, and then uh, the winter, yeah, the in January of 23, the guy I was working for, he just kind of it was really wet and wasn't anything I could really bush hog, and so he'd have me do some other stuff because he had like rental property that I would help keep up. But he just didn't have anything at that time, and he pretty much laid me off for a month.
Oh
And
wow.
I was, man, I need some money.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, and it wasn't. I mean, it was a good job, but it didn't pay just great.
Right.
So I just started kind of. I was kind of desperate, and I was just looking for anything. So I had a couple options. I made a phone call to, and had a friend who had a propane company, and it was middle of winter. I was like, maybe he needs some extra help. So he was like, yeah, we could use some extra help for the next 5, 6 weeks, whatever. I was like, okay. So um, I went and started working there for a couple weeks, and as soon as he found out how old I was, that I guess I was 25 or 24 at the time. He was like, if you want to stay with us, we'll get you a CDL and get you driving trucks.
Oh wow.
Uh, well, okay. And then as we talked, he was like, this job would actually work perfect with your lawn care because during the summer we pretty much go dead and don't do anything, but during the winter we need a lot of extra help because that's when we're doing all our deliveries.
Well, that
So
makes
I just
sense.
as we talked about it, it was just like, yeah, this could really work out good. So um, last February of this or January of this year, well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I started in December, last week of December. He sent me to trucking school, and I graduated in February, and I've been driving a truck for him ever since. So
Oh, that's
that's
crazy. So
yeah,
you're basically you're parking that truck, which you did tell me that you're doing propane now, but I didn't know if like
yeah,
how the history of how you if you always done that or what. Which
yeah,
so that's kind of recent, but that does work like amazing for that.
yeah.
So they're fine with you, just like parking the truck for a few, half the year or whatever while you're mowing your lawns. They're cool with
Oh
that.
he's which I work there 1 day a week because our the yards that we do, it doesn't take 5 days, to do them. We actually most of the time can do them in 3 days, and then I work the other days there at the propane place during the week because they're still because I am pretty much in charge of the doing the 20-pound bottle deliveries
Oh
that
wow.
like cages that are set up at the gas stations.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For your grills
there's
and stuff.
yeah. So that's pretty much all I do is deliver that. So during the summer they still sell those. So 1 day a week I typically make a run to
Because people
stores.
are grilling out during the summer, so
Oh
they're
yeah,
gonna need them
yeah,
for that.
yeah.
And so you're saying you go and you undo the little locker thing, and you're
Uh,
taking the empty ones and putting full
yeah,
ones back in.
yeah. I just did that all day yesterday.
Oh wow. And so that's what you're doing during the winter too.
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
and I do I have run a few like home deliveries with the big bobtails, but I haven't done a whole lot of that yet.
So
That's
do
kind of a whole
so
world.
are those like are used for other things? Like if it picks up a lot during the winter, is it just way more people grilling, or is they're using those small tanks for something else?
Oh yeah, people use them like in for heaters in their deer stand. People
Okay.
use them for heaters in their house. Some people have the bottles in their house. You're not supposed to do that, but people do it. um, run heaters. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. So um, that's really neat because I see where I live, a lot of people will have those at their house. They'll have those big tanks in the ground, and the truck, he backs in and
Yeah.
hooks up hose and fills it up.
Hmm.
Um, and I actually want to get a gas log set at my house because I have like a house on a slab, kind of like a regular kind of neighborhood type home, and so it has
Hmm.
a real fireplace, and I burned real wood my whole life, heating when I was growing up with my dad and stuff. But he had wood stoves, and this one, um, it's a real wood burning stove, but like it's throws like basically no heat. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so it's kind of just more for fun, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah.
so always I'm tempted to like buy one of those gas insert kits where it could
Hmm.
actually throw the heat out. That you know that it's making. Because they would have those inserts have a little fan and stuff. You know how all that works.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and so like I would be able to get some heat from that. So I'm thinking about like converting my fireplace to like a setup like that because that would be cool. And then Emily, even if I was gone or whatever, she could turn it on. Again, we're in Georgia, so it's not like, um, it does get cold here in the winters, but like it's always 50s in the day and might get 30s at night. But like that's our winter, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, uh, but um, but yeah. So would I have to go with like one of those huge tanks in the ground, or I know there's also those ones that are kind of like as big as a person too. What are those kind of? They're like they're not the
Like
little grill ones, but they're
yeah.
4 or 5 feet tall. You know what I mean? Kind of a. What are those?
I mean, those are so you guys have a lot of underground tanks there.
Yes. Some of the real rural places they'll just have them sitting up on top of the ground. But
Yeah, see, around here, I guess we're all real rural around here, but that's I don't know if anybody around here has like an underground tank, but everybody's just got the ones sitting on the ground. Mostly what you see like per houses are there'd be 250 gallon. If they have a generator, then they have to have a 500 gallon. But yeah, those are for like the heat running a whole house.
The 250 gallon, is that the one I'm talking about that like stands upright?
Well, no, uh, the
That's still a one that lays down. It's just a little bit smaller of a tank than the humongous one.
well the ones the 250 that I'm talking about, it's about probably 5 6 feet long and 3 feet tall.
Okay, it
Three
lays down though.
oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
got feet that's on the ground.
Okay.
Now there is one that kind of stands up tall. That's it's like I think it's a 420, something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the fancy homes where I work, they in
Yeah.
those like high end neighborhoods, gated neighborhoods, like there's not allowed any tanks like you
Uh,
can't see them. You know what I'm saying? So they're all
yeah,
in the ground over there. If they have them, it's in the ground. Um,
gotcha.
so I have to like trim around. You see the little cap. That's all you see. Like the little top of it.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean that's cool. I mean because they are, I mean they're sort of ugly, just sitting up in someone's yard. But
Yeah.
people have them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's just cool. Propane is just it's cool in general. Just kind of how it is and how it works. And
Yeah.
anyway, sorry to bother you with all that. That's kind of a side
Yeah.
tangent, but it is
Oh,
cool. That's part of what your life is right now.
yeah.
Um, and it's a great source of heat, like you're saying. Um, and I mean, as long as it is burning, it's clean. Or
Yep.
yeah, and that's the cool part about it. One time, we were renovating this house during the winter. My family, like way back in the day, um, that we had bought, and uh, somehow one of the in our camper, one of the things like it wasn't, it was it was leaking or it wasn't burning, and so um like all of us would be like we couldn't really tell it, but like so like if we like during the night we wake up, we feel sick in the morning, but then when we're not at the camper all day, we feel fine again, and it was so weird.
Oh,
We could
wow.
we couldn't figure out what it was, and eventually we did figure out that it was a propane leak issue. You know what I mean?
You're slowly
Um,
getting poisoned.
yeah, yeah. So that was a long time ago, but other than
Yeah.
that, but like I said, as long as it's on fire, I mean, you're good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the kind of the cool part about it, and that's why people would even put it because there's probably those people out there who don't even know what we're talking about propane, but propane it's different than like uh, some kind of other fuel. Like how do you explain it? Like it's clean if it burns. It's so cool, like how
Yeah.
it works.
I mean, that's why they use them in like forklift that they use in warehouses and stuff because they don't put off the same fumes that gasoline engines do.
I got you. That's why they can run them inside
Yeah.
Home Depot and stuff.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And like you're
Yeah. It's
saying, so like even out here in my shop, it gets colder in the winter, so wouldn't. So you're saying I haven't really thought about that, but like it's not, the heat doesn't come out here. And so I'm even tempted to get some kind of like propane heater like that with like one
yeah.
of those bottles, like the ones that you refill, the small one, and put it out here and turn it on when I was out here working on something. That would be cool. That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah. So part propane, part
Yeah.
mowing. So have you, they have propane mowers. Like maybe one day you could have that set up on your
Yeah.
Skag propane, then you just fill it up from your work. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I've actually thought about doing that, getting a mower because I can get propane for a lot cheaper than anybody else can. Employee discount.
That is interesting. I've never actually ran a propane mower, but I've seen them around the industry for my whole life. They've
Yep.
been in the magazines and stuff. Um, I guess that's
We,
not really talked about as much now. Everything is like the battery and all that stuff,
yeah.
um, but it is, yeah. So like it can run through the same engine stuff that you have.
Yeah. You just have to change. Like you take the fuel pump off, and you just have to put a regulator on it. Kind of. I don't think it's that complicated to change it out to propane.
Oh, that's cool. Um, I wonder. Yeah, that would be so interesting. I wonder like what your mileage or that's not the right term, but you know what I'm saying. Like I wonder what the
Yeah.
runtime would be
I'm
like
not,
on
I'm
a
not
mower.
sure.
You're saying to be what?
I'm not sure on that.
So like yeah, I wonder
It
if it
would-
would be equivalent as like a gas tank, or if maybe it would last longer than a gas tank. That'd be interesting because
I know. Okay, so my boss bought a propane powered car,
oh wow,
um, and I think it has a 15-gallon propane tank in it, and uh, it can do 350 miles on that tank. So
Okay, so that's I
that,
guess
that's fairly equivalent to gas, I think.
right.
Um,
Well, if it's just like a sedan, they can go a long while on
yeah,
15 gallons of gas. Us they're driving the big pickup trucks. Obviously, 15 gallons is not going to go 350 miles. But
yeah,
um, yes. But is it like a sedan or what is it? Like
yeah.
the car that he has?
It's an old cop car. It's a Crown Vic.
Okay, okay. And I didn't even know they did that. So he like converted it over, or he like already
Well,
bought it
no,
like that.
he bought it at an auction. The there are a bunch of cop cars that they did that way with the propane. Trying to be green
I
for
gotcha.
electric thing.
Oh, that's neat. Wow, that's cool. So, um, anyway, as we segue off of propane stuff, tell us a little bit about like what is your setup nowadays? Because you got some nice mowers and some nice equipment. You're not using that Black and Decker plug-in trimmer anymore. Like you kind of
No,
upgraded a bit. Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. So we have two Skag V rides. Two. Um, one's a bought in 2021, and one bought 2023 or 22, a couple
Okay.
years. They're both 61 inch. Um, one of them's the older one's got, I think, just about 800 hours on it, and the other one's almost 500, I think. So we've been using them the last couple of years.
And so you're mowing
We
you're mowing like acreage properties then or stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, most of our properties are bigger. We don't have. We had one property that the backyard, the gate was too small, but we made a bigger gate in it. The customer allowed us to put a bigger gate in, so we did that. So we pretty much don't. Well, okay, we have another yard that the customer actually has a push mower
Oh,
that
okay.
they use to do their little backyard with. It's got a pool in it, so yeah, pretty much we don't take a yard if we can't get our mowers in it. So yeah, because a lot of our yards are a couple acres.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. That is neat. So like that's gonna be different in the setup maybe than times when you live in the suburbs and stuff. Um, but that's neat. So it's kind of a rural area where you live, probably
Yeah,
somewhat
yeah,
like where I live. Like it's not in the city.
yeah. Not at all. Like the biggest town that we work in is 60,000 people,
Oh wow.
and we don't do a whole lot of yards there. We mainly work in a town that's 10,000, so it's pretty rural.
Do you still have the old Ram pickup truck? Tell us about that.
Uh, I've never had a Ram pickup truck.
I thought you had like an older one, like back in the day,
uh,
like that second gen or something one. Um,
no. Um, I've owned an old Chevy. I've owned an old Toyota, and now I have a 2002, which I guess it's still old, 2002 Chevy 2500.
yeah, maybe it was the old Chevy that I'm thinking about, the one that you had back in the day. Um,
Maybe.
and then now you've kind of upgraded a little bit from the one that
Yeah.
you had. Um, and so what? Tell us about the one you have now. So that I'm trying to think. That's kind of is it a Chevy? So does it have like what are they called, the cat eye front?
It is not. It's a 2002, so the cat eye didn't come until '03, I think. So I just missed it. Yeah, but yeah. It's just the round the round
Okay, okay. So
lights
which it
up there.
kind of is like the cat eye, but it's just the more rounder
Yeah,
one.
it looks pretty much the same. Just the front looks a little different.
Well, and then I think GMC kept it for even a little bit longer.
Yes, they
Um,
did.
so that's the one you have, is what you're saying, that
Yeah,
rounded one. Yes. So I know exactly what that looks like.
yeah. It's
Um,
got the gas. It's got the 6.0.
oh, that's great. Yeah, my dad had a 2006 GMC 2500, and it had a ton of miles on it, stuff. But again, that it still looks even though it was '06, it still looks, because it was a GMC, it looks just like the one that you have, you know.
Okay.
Um, and that was a great truck, with the 6.0 gas motor. I mean, the thing had like 300,000 miles on it, and it was still running good, when he sold it. So that's
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
it's been a good truck.
What color is it?
It's white,
Oh
extended
wow,
cab. Yep.
white is the best color. my humble opinion. Well, I just feel like it looks the best like for business. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess with proper like lettering and stuff, you could make any color work, but depending on how you like did color scheme and how you kind of like did that, but white is just like a general, like if you think, you know, company vehicle or like some kind of professional service vehicle of any industry, you think of some kind of white truck with lettering or wrap on it. You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? Um,
yeah,
so, and I think that's good. Like, um, like guys, if they have like a burgundy or purple truck or, silver or whatever, like with the lawn stuff behind it, it just looks like, hey, I'm a guy doing this on the weekends, that kind of thing.
yeah,
It just kind of has that look about it. For some reason, just, with those colors, let's say you got an old black truck or, I mean, it's fine. You guys out there, do with whatever you have. But when you go looking at another truck, I mean, pay attention to these things. I do think that white is the best color. Um,
yeah. Unless I think it would be neat though to like if you color coded your truck as the same color as your mowers. I think
yes.
that could.
Yeah, that could be cool. And like I said, let's say you had let's say your truck was yellow or something, then you like, you could kind of like do graphics on the truck that kind of go with the color that your truck is, like you're saying, or the mowers or something. I mean, you can make
Yeah,
other colors work, but I'm just saying if you're just gonna buy one and just leave it blank, I feel like a white one kind of is the most professional way. Like that, I've looked for white ones my last few, and the one I have now is white, and
yeah,
it looks pretty good. It's not, it's not perfect, but anyway, yeah. Like even in the future, I probably would. I personally would try to go for white. And plus where I live, like the sun is so strong, so it seems to kind of hold up the best. Like any other color, once the truck's a few years old, that hood is faded to junk. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because I'm in Georgia, so I'm just one state away from Florida. You know what I mean? So like it's hot over here. Um, anyway, but so that's cool. So you're running that. Do you run like an open trailer? What kind of trailer you have?
Yeah, it's an open trailer. It's actually one we bought from a friend. He had it to haul like sod in it, and so it had really tall sides. We didn't really care for the tall sides, so we cut them down halfway. Which actually they hinged at halfway point.
Oh wow.
Um, we just cut off the hinges, and it had kind of like already had a finished edge on it. So the sides are like I don't know 3 feet high now. So I really like that. I don't really like the tall 4.5 foot
Right.
sides. I like
Yes, I gotcha. So
it's a
what size is it?
it's a 16 foot, a 16 by I guess I'm not sure how wide it is. It might be 7 feet.
Yeah, it's probably at least somewhere 6.5, 7, somewhere in that
Yeah,
range. Yeah. Um, that's cool. That's cool. So it has a couple feet sides, which is nice if you need to like haul some brush or
yeah.
this or that. Um, and do you do like ground cover, like mulch or pine straw or those things, or how do you do that?
We we have done some of that. We don't do a whole lot. Um, I think I mean probably because in our area, just a lot of people really don't care about that. We have a lot of customers. We just the grass grows up in their flower beds, and we just weed eat it down because
Oh
they don't
wow.
want to put. So yeah, it's pretty rural. It's like people. It's not Atlanta for sure.
Right,
Anything,
right. Well,
but
I'm not in Atlanta. I'm in a kind of a rural area, but the neighborhoods that I work in, yeah, we keep they keep
uh,
nice beds. So and that's good and bad. Um,
yeah,
sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just like let this be and just weedy if it sticks up, but like, um, because our grass is like crawling grass here, so like, man, it's
uh,
tough. Like it even if it's not just like a rogue weed that just pops up and grows up. It's not like that. They crawl like the grass crawls in there. And by the
yeah,
time by the time you see it, the weed in the bed, it's already it's rooted, like it's in the ground. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
um, so then you can spray it, and it kind of works. But again, it's tied into the rest of the grass, so then it's strong. So you're gonna cut it and dig it out, and those kind of things. Like just all day, this is these are kind of things I deal with. Um, but it's good. I mean, uh, I like that, and there a lot of the houses have a lot of trees too, so they're kind of um, some of them, at least half or more of the property looks like they're almost in the woods. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I've seen some of your videos. Yeah.
yeah, so that kind of is a good thing. So like I work year round, because there's always leaves, sticks, all that all the time. Um,
Yeah.
and it's good and bad. Sometimes I'm like, man, I would love to like take at least like a month or two off, or something.
Yeah.
Um, but the good thing is, I'm able to make money, all the year round. So that is
Yeah.
good. Um, but that's neat. That's so neat that you figure out that setup, and if you have a great relationship, with the propane people, and someone like you that's a believer, someone that that has faith in the Lord, like it's gonna be very hard to replace your work ethic, your character, that kind of thing. Hard to replace that, on the propane truck. So I'm assuming you probably could, work do that, dual income gig, for as long as you wanted to, pretty much. I mean, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't see propane going away anytime soon.
No.
Um, yeah, that's super neat. And so in the future, like, do you want to keep that same gig? Do you want to like do something different where you're like landscaping during the winter? Like, do you want to start doing like big projects with like skid steers and stuff, or like what do you like? What goes through your mind of like with your mowing business, or do you like just mowing rural properties, or like what are things that you think about like with that?
So actually, I've been having a lot of thoughts about that recently. Um, I don't see myself quitting the propane anytime soon. Um, on the lawn care side, my dad, it's me and my dad. We're the only ones who work in the business,
Gotcha.
and he he is planning to step out of it in sometime in the next couple of years, and
Okay.
hand it off
Okay.
to me. So at that point, I have to decide: do I want to hire an employee,
Yep. Yep.
or do I scale back and do it solo? Um, or I mean, I've had thoughts: do I want to like scale back a lot and just do it like more part time? I don't really know right now. I'm not sure. I mean, I really don't want to stop completely because I just enjoy it so much. But yeah, I'm not really sure right now. I have had thoughts in the past of like I've had some interest in doing like tree work.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I've done a little bit of that, but here recently, my boss actually at the propane place has a lift, which actually it's a lift trailer. It was a lift truck, but somebody cut the bed off and turned it into a trailer.
Oh
So
wow,
the
that's
lift,
cool.
yeah. So he lets me borrow that. I had to take down a tree like at my dad's house and then for a friend. And so I went and did that, and I really enjoyed it. And so I've been kind of thinking about maybe trying to do that and make that as part of the business too.
And that is interesting. And then because I mean, you could cut trees pretty much year round, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Uh-huh. Yep.
so and there will always be trees that die and break and
Yep.
fall over and stuff. That ain't gonna stop
Nope.
anytime soon. Um, because I know these are things you think about, because these are things that I think about every day. Every day I'm out doing these yards, and
Mm.
these are things you got to think about. Because like you, I'm almost 20 years in, and I'm out cleaning up these yards, and I have these thoughts, through the day, like, am I stupid? Am I out here doing this? Like, like,
Yeah.
like, uh, am I like, yeah, like I literally have these thoughts, like, I don't know, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Like, am I, because yes, I enjoy this business. I enjoy it being small, making good money, all that. But at the same time, you know, what if we die and go to heaven one day, and what if God wanted us to do so much more of their business? What if he wanted me to have a business with 50 crews and do all that? I mean, like,
Yeah.
am I you know what I'm saying? Like, am I selling myself short just because of my own fault? Am I like, um, you know, because if God has something that He wants me to do, an impact that I could make on other people's life, which I really don't want to do that whole thing, big company thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I have these thoughts during the day. Like if God has something different or bigger for me to do, am I just forcing that not to happen, because of just my own thinking or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to, I don't want to not fulfill potential that I could have, that God has for me. See what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah. That,
and
um,
maybe a lot of people have those thoughts, in some kind of way, shape, or form. Maybe not if you're in your second year of business or whatever, and you're just trying to
yeah.
figure things out. Um, but after you've done this for such a long time, I feel like you have those thoughts, um,
Yeah.
uh, and because I do, and especially I feel like during wintertime when things are not as crazy, phone's not ringing as much and stuff. I mean, I'm just doing the same job, same route. I mean, it's cool, but I guess I tend to think about things more during the winter. Like, um, I don't know, like, should I also start working on small engines or working on cars and stuff because I enjoy doing that too. Um, I just have all these thoughts. But anyway, so that's why I asked you that because I know those things. If you've done this for 20 years, those things come across your mind. um,
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, at the very start, like when I was 19, I I'm not sure exactly what triggered the thought process, but I really wanted to become a police officer,
no, okay,
and I I thought about it, prayed about it for a while, and my my parents actually were very strongly urged me not to.
right.
um, but I was pretty set for a while that I was going to do that, and but I don't know. As I was just praying about it one day, it just I didn't feel right about it. I just felt the Lord was not leading me in that direction, so I eventually just all right, I won't go that way. But I was pretty disappointed at the time. But now looking back, I'm like, man, I'm really glad I didn't go that direction, just for certain reasons, stuff that happened in my life. So
Yeah, I mean being a police officer, it's something that uh, I feel like people need to be called to, but
yeah,
that's the problem. That's the problem that all of us parents will have. I have kids, and um, like my son, I would not want him to be a police officer or go in the service or anything like that. Military, those things. But at the same
hmm
time, God has called certain people that we need, and we do need good people in those roles. So, like,
for sure,
if
very
if
much so.
if that's what God has for him, I can't, you know, make him not do that. But on the other hand, earthly, it literally makes no sense. Like for me, like I'm not gonna go get shot at for starting out 35 grand a year. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, um, But again, it's a calling. It would just like going in the military or something. It wouldn't. It's not just because of the money. It would have to be.
yeah,
It's a calling thing, like you're saying. Um,
yeah.
and even lawn business to an extent. You know what I mean? Like you have to love mowing grass and pulling weeds and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like or you
yeah,
will not last. You will not last in this.
yeah.
Maybe it's
I have
yeah.
I have three other brothers, and they all worked in the business at one time, and they all left because they did not like it. It just wasn't their thing. I was the only one who stuck around because I mean it just I loved it, but it was my passion. So
And
they
that
all
you
went.
probably won't be able to ever stop completely doing mowing and stuff.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know that I ever would either, but on the other hand, like I said, like, I can't just live my life such in a rut in my mind that I just like go right past things that God wants me to do. That's what's hard. You know,
yeah.
I mean, all of us have these, things. Just like you played in the band, playing in front of people and stuff. Most people would just be like, even if they had, some ability to do that, they're just like, nah, I don't know about that. I'm not going to do that. Boom, they just never do it. Um,
Yeah.
and they live their whole life, and so like you took a step out of faith in that and done that. You took a step out of faith in your lawn business, but then, me and you, 20 years later, well, what else steps we need to take? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah, and I mean, these are good conversations for me and you to have. As business owner friends. Like these are
Yeah.
these are pretty big deal. things. And but on the other hand, it's cool to talk about that. Cool to talk about those things. And yeah, I mean, you could totally get into tree work if you want to do that. Like that's the other thing is I think about. That's why I mentioned like about the skid steer and stuff is because, um, you know, me and you like by purchasing certain pieces of equipment, even though yes, it would be hard to save up for them, they're expensive, all that, like buying skid steers or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as soon as you buy a piece of equipment like that, or like you're saying, or a lift for a tree or something, well then that just automatically opens doors right up for there's so many more things that you can do just by buying whatever piece of equipment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I guess I just don't want to keep myself shoved in a corner if I don't. You know what I'm saying? These are things I worry about, things that I think about. And that's good because if we don't think about that, then we literally will just go in our same rut, and do these things. We got to kind of pay attention of, what do we think is over the horizon or whatever. And maybe God does want me to mow lawns. I mean, I don't know that. I have great relationship with customers I have, and still able to make a lot of impact with different people, that I share the faith with, and even in the lawn care community, I'm friends with hundreds of people, like it's really cool. So the Lord maybe has me connect with people and making impact in other ways as well. Because I mean, in the big picture of things, that's the only reason we're here, is to glorify God for His purposes, and so if we think about that, if me and you, if you JB MOWS, if JB MOWS, was 300 trucks running, well then, technically you're able to impact a lot of lives for the kingdom of that, people that work for you and all those customers and,
Yeah.
if we think about that, if we don't be too small time thinking, technically we can potentially could make more impact for the Lord in those type of scenarios. And, think about all these young guys that possibly we disciple, and all these things, people that work for us and their families and, and the list goes on and on and on. But because we have to make impact for the kingdom. So that means even if me and you are just doing a small lawn route ourselves, well, then that just means, I feel like that means that then I have to make impact other ways. You know what I'm saying? And not that it, and I do make some impact, with customers I have and stuff like that. But, we have to figure out how to make impact in other ways. Like you're saying, you're doing it other ways with your music, and I do the same thing too as well. But again, these are things that I think about too, not only strictly just business purposes, but like impact wise, like, am I gonna go through my life and miss something, on that front too? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's neat. So, man, it's Thanksgiving, and I so appreciate your time coming on here and doing this. And
Yeah. No problem.
There's only one purpose of this podcast, at this point, is just to, to make friendships and to, and then just to help other guys out there that are mowing, because, let's say there's someone out there mowing and there's just not enough lawn podcasts in general, but especially ones like this where it's only the purpose, there are a few ones like this that are just, this is only for the purpose of like, building each other up really. Like, I make $0 from this, you know what I mean? Although you guys out there and we all meet up at the Super Bowl, the Lawn Care Super Bowl at the Equip Expo, and a few days ago they asked me, actually it was a few weeks ago, they're like, hey, do you want your own promo code? And I'm like, yeah, I want my own promo code.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, you make just like a few dollars off that. But anyway, I got to throw that in here. So promo code Tony, that's pretty easy, right?
All right.
So I have that. But besides that, make $0, on this. And that's not even really technically part of this podcast. It's just a code I have. But anyway, what I'm saying is like, that's the only reason why I'm doing this, is just, just from me to you, just from one friend to another. There's so many people that that I know, the people that we meet in the lawn care community, and just to let them know that, hey, me and JB today are coming right alongside you listener out there that are sitting on your mower, and you're picking up sticks or you're pulling weeds or whatever it is that you're doing today. We're coming right alongside you, and we have a lot of similar feelings and struggles and thoughts and things, just like any of y'all out there do. And so that's really the part of this podcast, and just trying to build it by having people on, like we're just one person at a time, like I'm not trying to, I want to talk to people like you that are cool people. It doesn't matter. It's not a thing where yes, I'll sprinkle in some famous people here and there, but it's more of just, I want to get people on this podcast maybe that people have never heard on other podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so so those are some things I have. And again, there's friends that I have, multiple friends in real life that I've connected with, like even locally, that like have connected with me somehow through the internet, and now the Lord's using those relationships, like it's just so cool, things like that I would never expect, over the last 10 years or so of doing this stuff, just like you doing that too, like on YouTube or wherever it is that we're doing, which I don't even do like most of the things that the young people do these days, the cool people, like I'm not on Instagram, not on TikTok, whatever it is, none of that stuff. For me, I think that audio podcast is like my favorite way to take in, like lawn care content like this. And if I think about, hey, because like we're learning so much while we're already mowing, doing something else. And if I think about, because see, these things come full circle once you have your own kids, and it's like, do I really want them to be like watching YouTube all day? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But would I like them to listen to audio podcasts, audio books, those kind of things, to be learning while they're doing something else? Yes, I am a fan of that. So that's kind of where it comes to me, whereas like in this year, I want to put more into this, because me personally, while I'm at work, and I gain so much from all the guys, famous and non-famous people, that do the podcasts, but we need more in lawn podcasts. So I appreciate you came on here and spurred a podcast on for today. And who knows who you will touch, from your story of doing this. And it's ongoing, I make friends for a lifetime. And so this is not like, oh, JB MOWS is on my podcast one time and then never see you again or hear from you again. That's not how I want to do that. We'll have to do it again soon. And hopefully I will actually, I hope to see you at the expo. We need to plan ahead for it. We need to plan far ahead. Because it is now less than a year away. Like, it comes faster than we all think,
Yeah.
And so, and if we don't plan on it and put importance on it, it definitely won't happen, just like anything else in our life. And that is one time a year where it's like we meet up, encourage each other, all that. I feel like I just talk about this all the time, but I feel like it's still worth it for you guys. Like, you guys out there have never been to the expo, need to come, need to meet JB, meet, just meet. There's so many good people, because would you agree that I feel like the expo, there's 30,000 people there, and the 30,000 that show up are sort of like almost like the best of the crop of lawn people in general. Does that make sense? So like, people that hate their job and their business and hate mowing and just, want to get out of it and just do it for beer money or whatever. Like, those are not the people that come to the expo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on the expo, and what is something cool you saw this year, as we like wrap this thing up and we get back to Thanksgiving festivities? Because I want to ask you about that, because that's kind of, it was cool that's when I actually get to see you. And and guys, the other reason I tell you about this is because this is not just like a fake thing. Just like any random business influencer you say on YouTube, and they talk about how they like, oh, we care about you, we want to like, be friends or whatever. But they're just saying that. I'm not really talking about in the lawn care space, but I'm talking about just online in general. They say these things, and they don't actually want to connect with you. They don't actually want to see you at all. They're just, they're just doing it to propel their brand or whatever and try to gain more traction or eyes or whatever. But that is not the case. It's not the case with JB MOWS, me. like for real, you need to come and hang out with us and talk with us, like once a year at this event. So yeah, give us kind of your thoughts about the expo and all that stuff.
Yeah. So when I went for the first time 2 years ago, and it was pretty overwhelming. You have to make a plan when you go. I did not realize that at all.
Or you can just go and wander around. I mean, some people do that. You can do
that. But I almost felt like I wasted a lot of my time the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did get to meet a few people. I met you there. But when I went back again this year, I intended to make a better plan, but I made a little bit of a plan, but I was so busy leading up to it, I didn't have much time to, plan out anything. But this year, I made connections last year, but this year I was able, I stayed at the same hotel with you and some of the other guys.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Getting to hang out with you guys at night, and then I hung out with some other friends a couple other nights and throughout the day and stuff. To me, that's the best part about the expo. It's just getting to hang out with people and talk business. And I mean, yeah, I really enjoy going out and riding the equipment and everything and seeing all the new stuff. But it's the people.
Absolutely, yes. And I think that is the number one thing, is seeing all the people, like you're saying, because yeah, there's equipment out there of all different colors that makes tall grass short, and that is good. That's cool. And we do need to look at those things, because there are changes in our business that literally can help us make money. And so, we need to pay attention to those things, and those are things that you'll see there that you'll never get a chance to see anywhere else at your dealer or stuff like that. But like you're saying, I feel like the number one thing is go there and talk to people. And I tell people that every time, don't be afraid, because everyone there is basically part of your industry, or they make something for your industry. So any person that you see there is game. I'm standing in line this time, and I just look at some random guy's tag. He was some, dealer. Never seen him, never heard about him or anything ever in life, and but I was standing right there in front of him, waiting in line, to go in. So I just started talking to him. And it's cool. You never know who you bump into like that. And just like you're saying, all the relationships, come and do that, because it's motivating for what we do. The whole trip is a tax write-off. Man, I don't know why you wouldn't come, other than it's just, just for everyone, it is a pain to do it, because we're all most of us are still doing work, and, have kids, and they don't like kids in there. And so, yes, it's a pain. It's a pain for everyone, doing this. But anyway, we're doing it. JB did it. And, 20, 30,000 other people did it as well. So you're saying you think people out there listening that never even contacted me or you on any of this stuff, you're saying they should consider it this year?
Oh, definitely. For sure.
And it's awesome. Oh, was there anything that you thought was interesting, like an actual product that you seen? Because I just always think that's fun too. Thinking about that stuff.
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, one purpose I had in going this year was I've had a right stand-on mower, just Stander X, for a while.
Okay.
But I don't have any dealers in my area, so that's why I went with Skag and not Wright. But I always was kind of partial to Wright, so I was just curious if there was a mower. I was trying to figure out which was the best stand-on mower, kind of going from comparing everything to the Wright ZK. And so I went around and wrote everything, and honestly, I didn't find anything that I liked as far as how it rode than the Wright ZK. So I guess to me, I guess it wasn't really something interesting, but it was just kind of interesting to me to find that, because that was one purpose for me of going.
So what? So you don't have the ZK, but you're saying you think that's your favorite mower? Do you like the one with the dualies on it, or what one are you talking about?
No, just the one with the just the normal tires. I wouldn't have any reason to have the one with the dualies. That would just be extra. That wouldn't be necessary.
Right, I gotcha. But man, I think those Skag V rides are sweet. But I'm but you're saying you still want to get one of those ZK ones one day?
I think I would eventually like to. I mean, the ZK compared to the V ride, I mean, there's the other new one, the XL. That is more comparable to the ZK, but yeah, that the ZK, the XL, and the Toro Grandstand to me were kind of like all the top three that I.
So what is new on the XL? I seen that Andy Cut and Clean had got one a few months ago, and it looked awesome. But like, what is difference between the XL and like the one that you have now? You know what I'm saying?
It's longer.
Okay.
It has dual fuel tanks, and I guess it's got bigger wheel motors on it. It goes faster, bigger pumps probably. So yeah, the main thing is it just goes faster and rides better.
Wow. Yeah, so that is cool. I guess especially if you're on rural properties, because like, for me, I'm trying to get the lightest mower I can, and you're saying you're going the opposite way. Yeah, so that is neat. And then are you? Because I am also a big fan of sit down mowers too. Are you not a fan of sit down mowers?
I'm not. We haven't really used very many. I've actually never had a commercial sit down ever. We've done walk behinds and then stand. So I had one for a short time, a John Deere that I bought. I put a new engine on it to resell, and I used it a little bit, and I liked it. It was okay, but I don't know. I don't care for the sit downs.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, maybe you have not thoroughly tried an actual one with like good suspension seat, one of these commercial ones, because those things, they are amazing. My dad owns one of the Toro My Ride. It's kind of like one of the bigger, 60-inch unit, kind of a big one, because he mows some big yards too. And man, that thing is nice. I mean, you don't feel no bumps. It's like sitting on your couch. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I personally, like, if I'm going to mow huge lawns, like, and you got to run around and weed eat all that stuff, I don't know. I think I'd be tempted to get one of the big sit-down units. I think my dream mower, okay, not practicality-wise, like from actual lawns, but just like dream mower for me, is the Skag Cheetah 2, whatever it is that they call it now. It's got like that little, like over the sit-down one, and it has like that little hood kind of thing that like goes over the engine. Man, that is just like, that is the coolest looking lawnmower in the whole industry, in my humble opinion. And I'm a huge fan. Like, if I had to pick, money or the type of lawns I did as no object, any of those things, Skag mowers is my favorite brand, hands down. But I don't know what it is, just something about how they are. And I've owned a lot of different ones, Patriot Sit Down 61. I've had the V-Ride 1, which I shouldn't have sold that mower. Back in the day, I had a project mower that was, the V-Ride Run, the first V-Ride. It was a 52, and that kind of has more of the kind of Toro Grandstand kind of thing. But I personally like the stand-on mowers where you kind of stand behind the wheels like that, because it gives you a little more traction. Like that thing, I mean, you could go on, side slopes and stuff. I'm not saying the one that you have is bad, but I'm saying I personally like the V-Ride 1 design. Anyway. So I've had that, I have several Skag mowers. Even in the 80s, my dad had all these old Skag walk-behinds, like, and he had them ones where, like, back in the day, they had, like, this ugly, like, seat trailer thing that hooks up to the back of the walk-behinds back in the day. I mean, this is before zero turns, you know what I mean? Anyway, I really like this Skag brand. I don't even own a Skag currently, but I do, that probably is my favorite mower. And like I said, if you've never owned, the sit-downs already are a little bit faster. Those, even ones that don't have like a weird like platform suspension setup like Myra or something, even just those like standard seats where you like pick your weight and put on, I mean, they work incredibly good. So, man, if I'm mowing 5 acres, a big sit-down mower, way to go, my opinion, my humble opinion. But again, I have no problem with the stand-on. I'm sitting beside 2 stand-on mowers right here in my garage. I have a Big Dog 52. which is the same thing as like the Hustler Super S, like they're kind of big stand-on mower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
EFI engine, all that stuff. I have one sitting here.
Okay.
And then of course I have the little Hustler Surfer Pro. That's like my main mower really. And then I've never even told people this on the podcast, but the other day, the Bobcat mower brand is running like a killer deals on all their mowers right now, and I bought a Bobcat ZT 2000. It's a 48-inch, kind of a smaller, kind of like a high-end residential kind of sit-down mower to use on my type of lawns. But I mean, they had these up to like $1,000 off, like the cash price, even.
Yeah.
Like because it's just some rebate thing they do. So I've never owned a Bobcat mower, but I bought one the other day because I paid brand new 0 hours Kawasaki engine, all that ZT 2000. I paid somewhere $4,700 some dollars, plus tax. Like, and it's a nice mower. Anyway, I say all that to say that is cool. I love the Skag VRI2. Let's see, 2 episodes ago, my friend has a Skag VRI2 locally, and he absolutely loves it. I know lots of people absolutely love it. And I like them too. I love, like I said, I like this big stand-on mower. Even my church, which is 7 acres, I mow it with this stand-on mower. And these fully commercial stand-on mower, like the one you had, like this one I have with the EFI engine and stuff. I mean, it rolls great. Even on big properties, it's pretty smooth, all that. But still, I have to admit, though, like owning both, oh, man, if you get a really nice sit-down mower, it is hard to beat that on a big property. But again, there are, definitely, advantages, disadvantages. Stand-on mowers, you can, like, ride on there with your backpack blower, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely a plus. But, I guess during summer and stuff, I don't do that a whole lot anyway. It kind of depends, I guess, on people out there and you and everybody, like, kind of what your properties are like, what are the hills like, are you blowing big parking lots, like what is the kind of setup? I think all of us have to kind of think about that, like on our lawns, like what is actually practical, like for the type of properties that we mow, and that's the thing. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving to you. I'll send you a picture of this Bobcat mower I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's neat. Like I said, it was just, I've never owned a Bobcat mower, but the hours is getting up pretty high on this little residential stand-on mower. So next season, tax-wise and stuff, I need to spend a little bit of money. And then, and this hours is getting up high, kind of on my lightweight mower. So I'm like, I was looking for something, looking around, calling. And this Bobcat brand, like for the pumps you get, the hydros you get, like, I mean, easily 1,000 below all the other brands, like the little Skag Liberty or anything else. And so I was like, well, so it's hard to turn it down, that kind of thing. So like I've never owned the Bobcat brand, but it's a great brand, and I think I liked them running them at the expo, when they were green back in the day. But I think they look way better, like with the skid steer Bobcat colors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
So anyway, I have one of those. I'll have to send you a picture of it. It's kind of over there sideways, stashed by my toolbox, but I'll get you some kind of picture.
Okay.
And my stand-on mower. Some reason the tire deciding to leak around the rim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is so annoying. That's way worse than like a hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't patch that.
Yeah. Like you'll pump it up. Like right now, that big one I told you about. It's all, the sides the front. One of the front casters is up in the air because the back is tire. One is so flat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's annoying. And leaking around that rim, I've put some soap on it and pumped it back up, and it wasn't leaking. And then, but you know how that is. You come out the next day, oh, it leaked sometime. I guess it's on the ground again.
What? I guess could it be bent the rim or something?
Could be. Actually, I think what it is I think these tires. So this machine, like I've had it for a while. It only has 170 hours on it or something. But again, it's not my main mower, so like. It's built in 2016 or 17, and there are some cracks on the sidewalls. Like the tires look like in great shape, but they're old, like getting dry. You know what I mean? Like dry rotted.
Yeah.
So I probably need to just go ahead and buy new tires and put on there. But at the same time, I don't know why I don't know why it's trying to leak along this bead, where it's beaded to the rim. Like the cracks aren't bad. Like you can't really see them like when it's filled up or anything. It's just, how like when it goes flat, you can say, oh, there's a crack there, So the tires, they do need to be replaced. Another thing, reason why I noticed it is because like if you're mowing my lawns with it, like where you drive out on someone's driveway, you turn around and and you're going another stripe, like I feel like way more rubber than should be goes on the driveway. You know what I'm saying? Like and that tells me that the tire, the tire is just it's old. Like it's way more black is shredding off it. Just when it drives. Turning around than it should. You know what I'm saying? The tires on the front, it has like no air tires, so we're good there.
Yeah.
But the back, again, it's crazy because they look almost brand new, but I guess they probably need to go. Do you have like your wheels? Yeah, that is a possibility. I guess if I kept it, for long term, and because see now I got to figure out what to do because I don't like how full my garage is now that I did buy also this Bobcat mower. So it's like, do I sell my little? I'll probably end up keeping this EFI mower because I got such a good deal on it back in the day, and just like your mowers these days, man, this is easily a $12,000-$13,000 mower now.
Yep.
It has LED lights on it, all that. And I didn't pay nearly that much for it, and it's like, man, if I sell this thing, even though I don't need it all the time, I'm not going to be able to get, nowadays you're paying double, what I paid way back in the day for this. You know what I mean? So, maybe I just hang on to this commercial one just because I like the mower and I'll use it time to time, if it's dry enough out or whatever. And then maybe I just sell this little Hustler Surfer Pro, when the hours get up high in it and just do that. But in that case, I probably would like to get some wheels on here. Because that was something they kind of announced. Michelin announced that at the expo this year that they're kind of building them for like a lot of brands now. Because, when they first came out, it was John Deere only, right?
Yeah.
And then like Exmark kind of got their little version.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I think now they're kind of saying, hey, we'll put them on whatever you want. So I don't know that, but I'm hoping that I would be able to, that, like you're saying, that would be so cool to like put them on this mower. It's a red and black mower. And then if you had like black wheels on there, like it would look cool. I actually bought this mower because see, nobody knows about the Big Dog brand. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's the exact same as Hustler, but it's red and black instead of yellow or whatever. And so someone had this thing listed on Marketplace last year or something, only had 100 hours on it. He had the receipts, all that stuff, one of those kind of situations. And the thing sat on there for, I looked at it like all winter, or I don't know, I wouldn't say all winter, but like even through the beginning of the season. Because again, he had it titled horribly, and nobody knows what this Big Dog brand is. But somehow digging down, I found it. And then I sent him an offer. I was like, hey, I'll come today. Because it was like 2.5 hour drive, in South Carolina somewhere. I was like, hey, I'll come buy it today and I'll pay you $5,500 for it. And he said yes. So I went and bought it. So, but again, like I've never bought something used that was, because I've done lots of project mowers and stuff over the years. But I've never bought something like this. You know what I mean? Like where he had the receipts, like, it really does, like, no paint is worn off the deck, like
a brand new mower.
Right, yeah, like the belts, you can still see some of the numbers on the belt, like, you know what I mean? Like it really has like literally barely been used. But again, it was assembled it's a 2017 model and assembled in 16 because I can see that on the little sticker. So, tires, there's probably just time-wise, like oldness, like years-wise, they need to go, even though they look great still. So that, I'm just hoping there's no problem with the actual rim or something. But again, if I kept the mower, did like you're saying, just do away with the rim and the tire and just put a wheel setup on there, that would be dialed. Because I already have no air in the front, you know what I mean? So then you're really covered. Do you have the wheels on your Skag or whatever they call them?
I do not. No, I'd like to, but no, not right now.
What about those price tag on those things though?
They are expensive. But
but see, now that they're building them for all the brands, I wonder if they'll start to kind of be more reasonable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
And then there'll probably be more companies that start pop up with them. Competitors, aftermarket ones, and then I mean, I would definitely foresee that coming. Maybe I find one of those other brands. You know, I don't care if it's, you know, Michelin brand or whatever, but that is definitely a good idea. And anyway, but I think that was actually 2 years ago I bought this mower. But anyway, yes, I could probably sell it right now more than I paid for it, but it's like, maybe I should just hang on to it. It is EFI, like, it's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the Parker wheel motors. You know, it's like they're kind of on their high-end, you know, heavy-duty models. It's a beast, though. I mean, it's heavy. You know, it's a beast. It's fast, too. And again, just because people don't know what this big dog is. And if I sold it one day, I would just list it. Maybe I'd list it as a hustler or whatever. And then in the description, I would explain it's a big dog, but it's the same thing it literally is the same thing. Cell Industries, same factory, everything. It's just, it's red instead of yellow.
Does Hustler like make it for him? Do you know, or do you?
Well, see, XL Industries, they make all of it, and which just like Skag, you know, they have the whatever metal craft that kind of basically builds the mowers. Some metal shop, you know.
Okay.
Man, if I wasn't thinking about it, I would know the exact something metal craft where they build the Skag mowers. Anyway, same kind of thing. Cell Industries, I think they build something for other industries. But anyway, they build all the Hustler mowers. And then so this was, I don't know really why they have the Big Dog brand, you know? Again, you know, like you see them here or there, you know, like online stuff. But again, it is the exact same as the Hustler, like, you know, all the same part numbers. Like, I don't mean it's similar. I mean, it is the exact same. Except for this one does have a little included LED light kit on the front. But again, you could buy the same kit, put it on the Hustler. Like, I mean, same gas tank, same wheels, same tires, same belts, same deck, same motor, same frame. Like, exact same. It's just different color scheme. It's kind of a reddish, red and gray and black. So yeah, if I could do like you're saying, find some tweels, that would be cool. And it has like old school, like the parking brake design, because it's such a heavy duty machine. It's got, you pull down the lever and then it's got like these teeth, you know, that just like dig in the tire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how the V-Ride is.
Okay. I guess I'm just saying right now off the top of my head, like, is that a problem with the tweels? I don't want to put a $1,500 tire on there with this thing biting down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a problem, you know, because I guess they know they're going on these type of machines. But that's kind of interesting, you know, to think about. You wouldn't want to move, you know, with those, you know, tear up your tweel. But again, that is such a good idea. I literally have, you know, I've seen and talked about the tweels before, but I never actually physically thought about actually buying one. But if I hang on to this mower, that is a good idea. Because then you're kind of, I mean, you're really like set up, and they would look cool in there.
Yeah.
But the tires, they're not as big as the tires on the V-Ride. Does that make sense? Kind of like more like the Toro Grandstand tires and stuff. You know, they kind of keep them smaller. They're kind of like that. Yeah. I think it's a 20-inch. It's a 20-inch tire, 20 by 10. And I think on your V-Ride, they're probably rocking 23, 24.
I think they're 24s.
Okay, yep. Like I have Skag Patriot 61, and that thing had those same big tires as yours. And obviously big tires is great. But I know that they, even for these smaller ones, they still make the tweels for these. I'm pretty sure. Like these sizes. So I got to figure out how to find one. But that definitely is a good idea, especially if I'm going to replace both the tires anyway. But it's just so hard because, like, you know, the regular tires, they're probably like $60 each or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I can order them from a local tire shop, and, you know, and they can put it on there and do that. Do you have your own like tire changing machine? Do you do that on your mowers, or do you have?
No, we just take them to a shop.
Yeah, that's what I've done as well, because it's like, I guess technically I could buy one of these Harbor Freight tire changing tools and change on the mowers, but like on my truck, I want those things to be like balanced and stuff anyway. So like, I wouldn't use it for that. And so, yeah, like you're saying, I mean, it's like $5 or something to have the the on top of your tire purchases to have the shop change it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's kind of,
we have our shop. So
yeah. And I mean, I don't have I'm like you. I don't know about you, but I'm in the country. It's not like my tire shop's 1 minute away. It's not. I mean, it's probably like 20 minutes away, but I still may bring over there and do that. But again, maybe I should just splurge instead of spend the $120. I'll just spend $2,500 on these two wheels for that. But see, that's also hard to do. Like, I paid $5,500 for this mower and spend $2,500 on two tires for it. Maybe, I guess, if I really plan on keeping it for a long time. I don't know.
They would have to like last the life of the mower.
Yeah. I mean, I guess people justify it somehow though, because I see, like you're saying, people online and stuff, man, they buy these two wheels like nothing.
Yeah.
So are you going to ever put them on yours? I mean, I do like the fact of not having air to deal with and don't have to worry about, one deck side of the deck dropping lower because they get low and you don't know it, or, these kind of things. It is cool.
What I like to find, just like a used one that's already got them on there. I got some friends in Wisconsin who bought a used Scat or a Wright ZK and it already had wheels on it. So it was like, and they only paid like just under 7,000 for it, and it didn't have that, like had 200 or 400 something hours on it or something like that. It was like a really good deal, and it had wheels on it. I was like, man, send a deal like that my way, please.
Yeah. Even like, man, even if we could find someone that had the wheels and we like buy the wheels at a used price and give them our other tires, like if they're the same size, you know what I mean? Like, even if we could figure out something like that, that would be cool. But yeah, that is definitely a good idea. Like, because again, if you can get rid of air in a tire, it's just one less thing that you're going to have to deal with. Just like right now, it just randomly just starts leaking around the rim or, these things, none of this you deal with, I guess, with the wheel. And supposedly they last for a lot of hours too. Supposed to. So that also is cool, but I'll have to look into that. I have to do a little digging online and see like, what the real cost is, now that they're making them for everyone. I'm sure you can actually probably get them a little more reasonable than I would think. Thank you for giving me that idea, because I didn't even think about that, because it's potentially that I could like buy them, just like order them and just bolt them on. I don't even have to drive 20 minutes to tire shop and all that. And then, that could be interesting. And again, if all our mowers had zero air in any of the tires, man, you're just ahead of the game there. So
don't worry about getting out of level.
Right. I mean, I know that's for you guys out there, it's a super simple thing, but just annoying. Every day keeping up. Oh, is this tire low? Or it got cold outside. Now tires are low. All that stuff. Well, anyway, sorry I've rambled on a bit, but I just enjoyed hanging out with you today.
Yeah.
Enjoyed coming on here Thanksgiving also we need to start looking at hotels, because that's how we did last year, and like they just get worse and worse, more expensive it's weird because you have to wait, like the way like Google, like the hotels works, you got to wait till 11 months from your day.
Okay.
So like the dates were just all gray, like blacked out on any hotel you looked at, like let's say 3 weeks ago for the expo dates, because I've been already starting to look on there. But we're like just now it's like creeping into, like they let you look at the dates like of the ones that we need, because I think it's 1 week later next year than was this year, so it's like 20-something, October 20-something.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so we need to start being on the lookout, and I will definitely hit you up about that.
All right, yeah.
Because that's a good idea. I want to do even a better job this year, because hotels are going to fill up anyway. Why we might as well fill them up, with guys out there that are listening to the podcast, or guys that are friends or whatever. Boom, let's do that. So yeah, I'll work on that. I'll let you know. Again, if you come up with anything good on that, let me know on that too as well. And yeah, it's hard because like I want to get something that's like right walking distance like we did last year. That's perfect if we can run up on a setup like that. But also I don't want to I don't want to book one that's, crazy expensive. Even if me and you did that, like I don't want to be like a roadblock for people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of them not do it because, you know what I'm saying? Even if me and you could do that because, it's tax write-off, whatever. I kind of like, I like to do something where, hey, I could contact as many people as I could and it's a good setup. And yeah, and every year it changes on there. Like, I don't know if we'll be able to get same like we did last year. Because like looking on there, like I said, things are all different. But anyway, we got to come up because that is something. The expo ticket, you can get that anytime. With promo code Tony, you get 50% off.
Yeah.
I say anytime, but I guess a few months, right before it starts jacking way up. But but for a while, that's not the problem. You guys out there listening, you've never been to the expo. Getting an expo ticket is not the problem. Make sure you have a hotel. That's the problem. So and I guess if you guys out there, like if they're flying in or stuff, obviously that's a little, you gotta figure that out too, like the plane and the rental car and all that. How far are you away? I mean, I'm like 8 hours drive, so like I'm a good rip away, but I still just drive over there.
Yeah, it's 9.5 hours for me.
Oh, dang, that's far. Yeah, there was some road construction, you know how that kind of thing goes. So I mean, I was pushing up in the 9s of like actual drive time this year, and and with my kids and stuff, it's a long ride. But, yeah, so man, so you're 9.5 hours. I didn't know, because you never know. There's some people that are my friends, like kind of in those Midwest states, like, oh, I'm 2 hours. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It just kind of depends, like where you are in the state you're in, or in all those. It makes a big difference, like coming to the expo, because the expo is sort of central located in the country. So, I mean, unless you're in California or something, it's not. It's way out there still from there, but.
Yeah.
But a lot of places it can be semi-close. That's what they try to do. They're like, hey, they actually say that, like, hey, we're within 8 hours driving distance of like 80% of the country or something like that. So that's pretty cool. It's a good kind of a central place for all of us to meet up. You guys out there listening, come to the expo this year. Meet JB, ask for his autograph. Bring you guys out there, bring your Skag V ride, and JB, he'll sign it for you. Okay? So sign your forehead and your Skag V ride, and you'll be good to go. All right, bud. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Eat some turkey. There's one of my customers that's a widow, and for the last like 6 years, I meet up with her, and like we bring her with us to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? One of my customers. So that's a blessing. And then my dad, there's this other guy in town. This has probably been for 15 years, and he's he's probably 50 years old or whatever, but he's like he's not all there mentally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so my dad goes and picks him up, and he actually takes him out to lunch at this huddle house they have, which is kind of like Waffle House, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he does that every year, just to make his day, make sure he has somewhere to do that. And I kind of do the same thing, similar principle, with this lady that's, her husband passed away 5, 6, 8 years ago, and she has no family like in this state or area or whatever. So every year, like, hey, you can come be with us, So that must, yeah. And so I think you guys out there, it's important that we can make a difference in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Because, it's so easy for us, all of us, me and you, all of us, that we have family. It could be like, because, God didn't put us here just to like, it's not like a weird click and we just take care of our family. Yes, we take care of our family, but like we have to make a difference in other people's lives too. And that's what scares me as a believer, if I'm honest. That's the thing, because God wants me to make a difference and to share his news with someone that is lost, and that's, and every day, I've been starting to do that. And, that can be scary, but that's what God wants us to do. So, So anyway, all that to say, enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy your turkey. I'm not a huge fan of turkey. It's really dry and stuff, but if you pour that brown sauce in there, gravy, pour it on there, it makes it good.
Yeah.
So going over to some of my wife's like extended family, we go there each year, and then some of my extended family later tonight. And that's neat. Again, I got to show Christ's love because like both places, like half the people there, I barely know them. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's cool. It's an opportunity. Hey, I got to I go and try to make sure, that I talk to them and, make them feel worth it, even though if I don't, I'm not super close with them or anything. And that's, and even our close family, our brother and sister, like, when we meet up with them today and you guys out there, we have that challenge. Like, how are we going to treat, our own family close, even today on Thanksgiving, because they matter and we need to treat them like that. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming on here. Enjoy. Eat a lot of Thanksgiving food. Just pour that gravy on there. It'll make it fine. It'll make it better. And if you got mashed potatoes and mac and cheese, boom. Yeah, I mean, you're in. You're good.
Yeah.
So, thank you, bud. Any last words? Oh, tell people how they can find you. Like, how do you want people, if they're like, man, that story meant a lot to me, and I want to contact them on your Facebook or whatever you want. And then also, just to play us out, play us a song or something, whatever you want to do. If you want to. You don't have to, but if you had something else, that'll be a play out. You know what I mean? That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm on both Facebook and Instagram at JB MOWS.
Wow, you're hip young person.
Yeah, that's the only social media I have. I don't have TikTok. Well, I got YouTube too, but yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
And what's it called? JB MOWS? Is that what it's called on both?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can probably search my name, John Sylvie, and it would come up too.
Gotcha. Well, can you do this since I'm not on Instagram? Send me the Instagram link, and I'm going to drop it in the podcast description. I drop these. I'm making myself drop these every Wednesday, like throughout the whole year, and then as I do extra ones, I can fill in there. But that way, at least I'll be consistent with it. Anyway, I say that to say because I did another interview last night, so it'll be a week or two out, and I'll let you know when it comes out. But I want you to send me the link to your Instagram stuff because I will go ahead and schedule it and stuff and make sure it's all good to go, that kind of thing. So yeah. So play us out a little something, which I would prefer to just listen to you play this whole time, but you're gonna get a little something on the beginning and end. And again, we'll do this again, and maybe get to hear you play some more. Do this again. It's not a one-time thing. I want you to be on here more. So yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Oh, man. That was great. Man, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. JB MOWS, check him out. He's going to send me an Instagram link. By the time you're hearing this, it'll already be in the description. I'll put his YouTube and stuff down there. You can send me that, too, if you get a chance. That would make it even easier for me. But, yeah. Thank you, bud. Enjoy your day.
Yeah.
You're awesome. We'll catch up soon.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
See you, bud.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, there you have it. Whew, that was not a track. That was real. He's playing on there. Man, it's always amazing to me what people I'm able to talk to on this podcast. So, yeah. I so appreciate you guys listening. And, hey, let's see what happens with this thing over the next year. I hope it makes a lot of impact on a lot of people's lives. That's what I'm trying to do. So, thank you, guys. See you later.